Right, hello and welcome to the Fabulous Food Fans tasting experience, which goes along with the autumn tasting box. Tonight we are being joined by lots of makers. So if I rush through our tasting, it's just because I've got so many amazing people joining us tonight. As usual, I think we've got a couple of new people on here. So the way we're going to run tonight is we will talk through every product in the box, just so you know who's made it, why it's special, some ideas of how to do things, and we'll talk through a few different tastings. So if you haven't opened your box already, thank you so much for waiting. I hope it arrived safely. I know I have a couple of people had to. Oh no, Davina, did yours not? Oh, I can't hear you. There you go.
Mine did, but Ruth's didn't.
Hasn't arrived?
No.
Ah. Honestly, I posted them on Monday.
I know.
All of them. Maybe it's this weather. That's a shame. That's always the gamble with this. Sort of like I try and do it as early as I can, ready for the tasting. You've got yours. Yay! Oh, good. Get that open. I love it when people wait. So thank you so much. So autumn vibes here. So we've got some cozy drinks. We've got some soup. We've got some yummy biscuits. We've got some oils and things as well. So lots of ingredients to kind of jazz up your autumn cooking. Not too much chili. I sometimes have a bit of a habit of putting a bit of chili in here. We've got one chili product. So Tanya, I hope you're going to be all right with this one. Cool. So if you haven't got your box, really sorry. But yeah, wait and watch this on recording and you can try it then. So what I think we'll do actually, Joyce, since you're here and I know that you would love to kind of not hang around for too long, we're going to start with your product. So I found this recently at a trade show. And if you dig in your box, these little packets here. Do you want to unmic yourself, Joyce, and then we can have a chat?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks, Katie. So hi everyone, I'm Joyce, and I'm the co-founder of Brew Tea. Really excited to be part of this tasting with you all today. So first, I want to say a bit words about Brew Tea, so you can know about the brand. So it's all about reintroducing tea as an experience, and we source directly from the small family tea farms in Yunnan, where tea originated thousands of years ago. And in the box, as Katie mentioned, you can find a unique product, the tea tokens. You can touch it. It's not the usual loose leaf. So what's that? Yeah.
I was going to say, if anyone wants to try this now, brilliant, but they are caffeinated. So if you want to enjoy this another time, Joyce will talk us through how to taste it and the kind of tasting notes to pick up on, but you can do that kind of in your own time if you want. Or put the kettle on and get brewing. Go on, Joyce, back to you, sorry.
No worries. Yeah, so this is what you can find inside the package. So it looks like this. So basically, our tea tokens are whole leaf teas pressed into little tokens, which make it look and taste different from the usual tea bags. Because if you cut a tea bag, you will only find the tea dust and ferments left over from the broken tea leaves. While with our whole leaf teas, you can get a lot more flavors and also health benefits. And also, I think our tea tokens make it easier to enjoy high quality whole leaf teas. Because lots of my friends told me that they never wanted to do loose leaf teas because there is too much work. While with the tea tokens, you don't need to measure it, and you can also carry it around. Okay, so now we can actually start making the teas. But it's actually quite easy. Like you can use your teapot or a mug with a strainer will do as well. So you can do this. You can also use a French press if you have one at home. And today I'm going to use this glass one, so it's easier for you to see the color and see the tea opening up. Okay, so I'm gonna put this into, yeah.
So we've got two different ones here, haven't we? So you've got the black tea and the green tea. And I found it super interesting that actually they're all just one plant, the same plant. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. So all the teas, no matter it's black tea, green tea, oolong tea, or fermented dark tea, they all come from the same plant. It's a tea plant called Camellia sinensis. Yeah, so it's all about the process, how we process the tea that make it different. And the black tea, which I'm going to try in a bit, is very fruity and smooth. So I actually quite love it. It tastes good even without milk. So make sure you try it without milk first. And this is a green tea. It is great for detox. And unlike many other green tea that may taste bitter, our green tea does not. So yeah, if you don't usually love green tea, this is a good chance for you to try.
So is the green tea, is that harvested earlier than the black tea? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so usually the best green teas are usually harvested in spring. Yeah. But the biggest difference is that for green tea, we usually pan fry it after we harvest them. While with black tea, we don't pan fry. We let them oxidize.
I had no idea about that. Is that just dry frying then? Like you don't add anything to it. It's just the heating.
Yeah, that's right. So for green tea, after we pick up the fresh tea leaves from the tea trees, we then put them into a huge pan to fry it so that we can kill the enzymes. So when we kill the enzymes in the tea leaves, the tea will not get oxidized. So that's why you can taste the, someone would describe it grassy. You can taste the green, the fresh taste from the tea.
Really interesting.
Yeah. And you can also see it from the color, because the green tea looks like more greener. It has a lighter color, while with black tea, it's darker. It's got a darker color, right?
Brilliant.
So now I'm brewing my tea, and you can see it's starting to open up a little bit. So maybe we need to wait another 1 or 2 minutes.
I was really surprised because how they expand and
that's right.
So many leaves in that little token.
Yeah, so it's quite soothing, I would describe.
And did you say this is like the traditional, like they used to take them up into the mountains with them, like as little tokens?
Oh yeah, that's right. So there is actually a history behind this practice of pressing teas. So basically, hundreds of years ago, people in this area in Yunnan province would actually press teas into big cakes. So it's not like little tokens like this, but like these big cakes. So they could sell it in somewhere remote because they needed to travel a long way to get there, and they didn't want the tea leaves to take up too much space.
Wow. I think these are super handy. And you sell these in little packs of 5, is it? So you can buy.
Yeah, so we have a box of 8. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. So if you are interested, you can get our products from our website. Make sure you use the discount code on the flyer. So 1 box includes 8 tokens, and we also write down the brewing instructions and more information about the tea. Yeah,
brilliant.
It can be a cute gift for your friends who love tea.
Yeah, and you've just started selling tea, haven't you? You're quite a young company. What were you doing before?
Oh yeah, so actually we launched only at the beginning of August. So it's been almost 2 months. Yeah, we're quite young. And before that, I worked in tech. So I was a product manager at TikTok. So something quite different.
Yeah, really different. So that's the black tea, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And so when we're tasting this one, if we go back to it, what kind of tasting notes would you pick up on?
Yeah, so if we brew it right, we should be tasting a little bit of a hint of honey, ginger. You can definitely get the natural sweetness. So that's why I find it quite delightful, because there's no added sugar. It's a single origin tea, which means it's not blended or scented, but you can taste the sweetness, which is quite nice.
Yeah, really like this one. And did you say you can rebrew it 5 times? So how would you,
Oh,
do you need to dry them out, or
wait.
do you just leave it?
Yeah. So that's actually what I love the most about our tea tokens, because you can rebrew up to 5 times. So actually, like if you, with only one token, I can use it for the whole full afternoon. So this is what I usually do. So now I have my first brew, and I have my tea leaves in the strainer. So you can just leave it on the side, but don't leave it for like a few hours because it will get oxidized. So after I finish this cup, I will just go on and brew it again. It's quite easy.
Perfect. So you get quite a lot from
Joyce,
there.
what's the problem with oxidization? Why is that a problem?
Oh, because you can see that. So before we brew the tea, all the tea leaves and the tokens are dried, right? So they are like this. But when you start brewing the tea, it will get wet, of course. So and that's why it will get air in, and the process of oxidation. How to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that impact the flavour?
Yes, if you leave it for too long, it will impact the flavor. So usually after, like for example, after 10 minutes, no problem. But if you leave it for quite a long time, then the flavor will go bad.
Okay.
I don't need an excuse to have to keep having cups of tea all day. That's fine. Another hour. I've got to go make another cup of tea.
Yes.
Brilliant. This is amazing. Thank you so much for telling us about these. So that was the Brute tea. And yeah, that's
Thank
been
you,
brilliant.
everyone.
Thank you. And we'll get you, I'll put more details into the Facebook group. And if anyone's got any more questions, we can get hold of you there. But that's been brilliant. So thank you.
Thank you, Katie. And feel free to reach out with any questions or feedback. We are on Instagram, Brute Tea. So thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of this tasting.
Perfect. Thank you, Joyce. If you want to stick around, you can, but I'm sure you've got other things to do.
Okay. Yeah. I may stay a little longer to see what else is in the box.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. So that was Brute Tea and Joyce. Now, Liz, shall we talk to you? So Liz is another one of our makers, and Liz has made this beautiful raspberry jam. And this is a local Norfolk producer, which I've known about you for ages, Liz, but I haven't embraced you or your product properly. So when I went to the recent food festival in Holcombe, I had a proper taste, and we included one of your products in the tasting, my tasting in the theatre there. And I love what you do. And when I was reading your website, I was just like, oh my gosh, the words are amazing. So tell us about you and why you're called the Tea Lady and why you do what you do.
Okay, so in
I'm going to quickly say you're in Cornwall and on holiday, so thank you so much for joining us on your holiday.
Okay, it's a pleasure. It's lovely to be here, and it's quite buzzy to think all you guys are going to actually crack open a jar that I've made. So dialing in while I'm on holiday, not a big deal. Anyway, in 2013, Yorkshire Tea ran a competition to find the best cricket tea lady in the country, and it was hosted in the Long Room at Lord's. And I've made cricket teas for years. My husband plays cricket, and I've been a cricket tea lady for years. And so I entered the competition, and the rest is history, really, because I won the competition to find the best cricket tea lady in the country. And then a couple of years later, I got the opportunity to start my own business in 2016, and was musing what I should call it. And a friend said, well, why don't you be called the Tea Lady if you're going to make jam and chutney? So I'd made all my own jam and chutney for the sandwiches and the cakes that I served in the Long Room. So that was it, really. That's how it all started. And a really important thing for me in starting my business was now the provenance of the ingredients that I cook with, and sustainability. You know, we have to become more parochial, I think, if we're to believe everything that's told us about what's going on in the world, and reduce our boundaries. And there's some tremendous food produced all around us that we just, and this is probably just evident of it, that, you know, we as a country produce great food. So I have, bar 3 pieces of citrus, I have a relationship with all my growers. My oranges in my orange marmalade based marmalades are grown by a lady called Amadora. She's a 4th generation grower, and has just recently taken a slice of the family farm into her, and she's farming that on her own. Everything else that I use fruit and veg wise is from Norfolk, Suffolk, Lincolnshire, Cambridgeshire, mainly in that top corner by the Wash, where the land is so fertile. There's so many people that grow fantastic fruit and veg. So and relationships are really important for me with my customers, but also with the suppliers, and knowing and understanding. I buy in season, I cook in season. If I can buy to freeze, not everything suits freezing, but if I can, then I do that. So that brings me to the raspberry jam. This is the fruit in here were grown by a couple called Steve and Janine, and they have a small holding. I have got a reject jar here, which we've had on our croissants. Oh.
And on the bed, or on the wherever you are.
And as we've been on holiday, so it's been out of the fridge, so it's quite warm in here. So all there is in here, it's absolutely almost like naked food. There's some sugar, and there's late summer raspberries, and I think I entered this into the Great Taste Awards this year, and you'll see that it's got a 24 rondelle on it for 2 stars. So I'm clinging on to the hope that one day I'll get 3. I'm busting for 3. But one of the things that the judges said when they cracked open the lid, and I hope you'll be able to say, crack open the lid, put your nose over it, and it will smell like you're in a raspberry cage. It's not over sugared. I like to be able to taste the fruit that I'm eating in my jars. So I think it's absolute simplicity. All there is raspberry, and it gets you a little bit in the corner of your mouth. It's not wildly sour. It's not sour, but it's sharp. So I think if I to eat it, thinking about what everyone eats jam, so you'll have your favorite things to do with it, whether it's to put it on top of peanut butter or in a sponge or on your breakfast croissants. One of the things that I think goes particularly well with raspberry jam is a lavender sponge, which was, and this was what I did for the cricket tea the Yorkshire tea competition. I made lavender sponges. I dried I got lavender from my friend's garden and dried it, and then put it into the sugar, and made lavender sugar, which was just fabulous. And I used to be able to buy it from Sainsbury's. It was one of their Taste the Difference products, but I haven't seen it in there for a long time. But raspberries and lavender are perfect partners. I also eat my jam a lot on ice cream. It is great on ice cream because there's no additives in it. It isn't like if you buy a jar, often buy a jar from the supermarket, you'll slice it because there's a lot of pectin in it to make it set. Because I understand big producers need to churn things out. You know, not everybody can make like I make. I make in open pans, stir them myself, and there would have been no more than 12 jars made at any one. So the jar that you have, there will be 11 others beside it. That's all that I make at a time. So it's really so you can get the best flavor. I start with 2 kilos of raspberries and I end up with 12 jars of jam.
Wow, you can really taste, I mean, it's just really fresh, it's zingy, tastes like raspberries, which is what you really want.
Which is what you'd be disappointed.
And well, I mean, it's a simple product. With these boxes, I didn't say at the beginning, how do I choose things? But it's, made by people that really care, and in keeping the ingredients, as kind of minimal as you can to let the ingredients shine. And that's what you really do, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And you're getting one of the boxes next week when you're home, aren't you? So you'll get to try.
Well, I am. Yeah, I was so excited when I went and when Katy asked me to put my jar in. I went home and I spoke to my husband. We said, "Oh, wouldn't that be a great thing to do?" So I'm going to come and join you.
Yeah.
Your happy tasting clan.
And the next one would be the festive box.
Yeah,
it's an exciting one. Oh, brilliant. And do you know what you make? We loved the blueberry that we tried at the Holcombe tasting as well. That was amazing. You kindly gave Lottie a strawberry jam to perk her up because she had tonsillitis, which was absolutely gorgeous. And that carrot chutney as well. You do a few savoury ones, don't you?
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you so much for telling us about this one, the Tea Ladies Raspberry Jam. And it is that 2 stars is, you should be really proud of that because they don't give them out easily. Thank you, Liz.
Thanks.
Amazing. And again, we can put that, you can come into the group, and if anyone's got any feedback, and if we want to see anything that people do with the raspberry jam, it'd be amazing as well. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Has anyone got any questions for Liz, or is that quite we covered most things about the jam, didn't we?
So the jar's not big enough. We've nearly eaten ours.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious. Beautiful jam.
Good.
Sorry, Katy. I was going to ask a very quick one. Well, firstly, amazing 2 stars. Secondly, I hope the carpet or floor wherever you spilt the jam in your holiday home isn't too stained, and I'm sure someone's got a suggestion how to get rid of it. I guess my question is about your choice of packaging. In that, I mean, I love jams and sauces and whatnot. You've gone for, I would say, like a standard jar. Did you consider doing a weird shape or anything different to try and stand out on the shelves?
I did have slightly different shaped jars at the beginning, and I had probably much more bland. I think a long time ago, Katy, when Charlie had his cheese shop in Aylsham, you had my tomato chili jam, and that would have been a very almost vanilla blue and white jar. And I found as we walked around and looked at the jars on the shelf, it didn't stand out. So consequently, all my jars now have the colour of the fruit, so it reflects the colour of the fruit. I did think about other shapes, but then it's complicated to fill. If you have a hexagonal jar, you end up with bubbles which don't look particularly pretty, whereas if you have a round jar, because I hand fill, I don't autofill. The only automation is my husband on the labelling machine. I've got an automated labeler.
They look pretty level, so he's doing a good enough job.
He's a good Saturday boy. So it's probably, I'd rather concentrate what's in it, Martin.
That's what I was going to say. I think the product does sell itself once you've tasted it, but on a shelf, I mean, I wondered whether you were trying for the competition and whether that's a consideration. But I understand why.
All my jars do. They do. The stand, if I'm out at a food festival, really does pop, and I'll perhaps on the Facebook page I can pop you in so you can see, because it really does stand out, because every jar is a different color, so it looks a bit like a rainbow.
I think it's awesome. I think with a bit of yogurt maybe turned into some granola would be nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think it's a really wonderful story as well. Congratulations. Well done.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will actually note as well, one of the other things that I look for. Oh, yeah, we go. Thanks, Tarina. Yeah, they look great. It's kind of good value for money as well. Like these jars, they are retail at £3.95 a jar. And if we go back to, the rhubarb, the single variety they retail about £6.95 a jar, or like £6.50. So you're everything you're doing and concentrating on making this amazing product is brilliant. And if it means more people can afford your jam or more of your jam, I think that's a pretty brilliant thing as well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right.
So thank you. Right, where should we go next? I had planned to go something later, but have we? Charlotte, do you want to talk? Should we talk about your marshmallows now while we're still sweet?
Sure.
Is that all right? So we have.
I was like kind of listening in quite nicely, listening calmly.
Sorry, now I'm like,
no, it's fine. It's fine.
I think it's the perfect time to do it. So you have a gorgeous bag of marshmallows, which Charlotte made for you. If you get those out and have a little look at those. I can't open these because I've already eaten mine. I could not save them for this tasting. So yeah, have a look at these. Charlotte, do you want to tell us about your journey from...
So the journey, I haven't heard anybody else's story, but I suspect it's quite similar to quite a few people, where I started in something completely different. My background is TV, nothing to do with cooking or marshmallows at all, but I always kind of wanted a sweet shop, and it was just one of those weird things. And so I started bringing them into work, and people sort of rather liked them, and I was just doing them for parties. And then just before COVID, I was made redundant, and I sort of sat around kind of going, oh my goodness, I need to kind of get back into TV. And I went to see one of those career people that those sort of big companies send you to. And I was all ready to look for new sort of TV work. And somehow we started talking about the marshmallows, and it was all a dream and pipe dream and all that sort of stuff. And I was just talking about it quite enthusiastically. And he just said, well, why aren't you doing it? Just do it. And I said, oh, I can't, because you sort of mindset was like, I need to go get a proper job. And he said, just do it. And he kind of inspired me just to kind of take the leap. And then suddenly lockdown happened as well. So I was kind of forced into the position where I had time to experiment. I had time to try things out. I had time to learn lots of new things. And that was the fun of it, was trying something completely new and completely out of my sort of comfort zone. So I'd never sort of run a business of my own. I had never cooked for sale before, and just trying out lots of flavors and learning how to sort of design a website or design a logo or all of those things, which were really exciting, as well as trying every time you try a new flavor, just thinking, I have no idea how this is going to how it's going to turn out. And most of them have turned out pretty good. I think there's only been one or two that have been sort of definite no's, but it's been really fun. And I've been doing that for, well, obviously since lockdown, and I still freelance in TV as well, but I am trying to, and I want to try and make this more my principal kind of occupation, let's say. And I just really enjoy it. And I do a market in London every other week called the Duke of York Market, which is in Chelsea. And it's a really lovely sort of market, some of you may know it, or you might already be there yourselves. And that's a lot of fun. It's quite good exposure, and it means that I get to see the customers face to face, which sometimes can be a bit scary. And most of the time it's really lovely, because a lot of people are like, oh, marshmallows, well, this is very different. And you're like, yes. And there's nothing like the one in the shop, no. And so you sort of talk it through, and people sort of try different flavors. And I have lots of regulars, which is really nice as well. So people come back. So I really enjoy that sort of selling and being kind of with the people who kind of actually enjoy it. And then I supply a few cafes as well for their luxury hot chocolates and things. And then I have my website. So it's been every week is something different. Like, this is different for me. This came up, and it was wonderful to talk and meet Katy and kind of try this. And this is really fun. And marshmallow wise, I have about 11 flavors.
What have you chosen here?
So these ones are the ones that go in. There's vanilla, which won a Great Taste Award last year, which was very nice. And then vanilla with pistachio, and then passion fruit, and then coconut. And those, I would say, probably the most, it really depends. I mean, they could be the most popular, it depends who you speak to, but they're the ones that come actually in boxes like this online. And then I did 4 flavors with those boxes, and those are boxes of 6. But then I do other flavors like blackcurrant, for instance, here, and those come in smaller packs like that. So it I kind of mix it up a bit. So yeah, that's pretty much. And it's just in my little kitchen here, and my very small KitchenAid over there. So it can be quite labor intensive, but I really enjoy it. And that I think you'll all agree, for your own businesses or whatever, you know, enjoying it is kind of part of it, and it does come out, I hope, in the flavors. So.
But most people here are, well, the people watching generally will be just people that love food. So yeah. So Martin's just suggested dipping marshmallow into raspberry jam, which is a very good idea.
Very nice. Or I could fill them with raspberry jam. Even yeah, nice idea.
Oh yeah, let's do a collab there.
It might be a bit sweet.
Gotta find a way of getting it in, but yes.
I really can't help myself. I've got to ask one more question, or one question of yourself, if you don't mind. How, like, I was kind of, this is how technical I am. I want to understand the packaging, like how it says once you've opened it to eat within 2 days, but how can it survive like this? Because whenever I've had a marshmallow before, it goes pretty gross if it's in a little pack.
Like that, they are sealed. They're fine for about 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the flavor, to be honest. The passion fruit lasts the longest.
Okay.
And in fact, they can go to a bit longer. And it's all it is that the flavor fades a bit, particularly the passion fruit, that fades somehow. And then obviously the texture after a while can get a bit, it's as if you left them outside. So they will get sort of harder, I suppose. But generally about 3 or 4 weeks. And then if you open them, or in my market, I sell them sealed, but also I do pick and mix boxes.
Okay.
And I always tell people, if they're not going to eat them that day or the next day, just put them in an airtight Tupperware box or a cake tin, and that's fine. And they can last, you know, for 2 or 3 weeks. It's not a problem. I mean, obviously, like with all, you know, baked goods or stuff that's really fresh without any preservatives, obviously the sooner you eat it, the better. So the softer they are without being tacky, and then the flavor has the right intensity. But generally, yeah, it's about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the flavors.
Okay, that's awesome. And finally, just very quickly, just a bit of praise. I love the flyer. Planning a wedding, a soiree, or barbecue. I mean, you've covered everything.
I've done all.
That's great. It's
So
brilliant.
yeah, I do weddings as well and parties. So like I just did a mock-up of one. I do kids, like little ones like this. And so for weddings, you can't really see. So for weddings, people get them like this, and they might have either a label's bespoke, or like here, these have got rice paper discs. So these are kind of mermaids, which this went to a party, a few months ago. That one, not these specific ones, but that style. And so people can kind of tailor them a bit if they want to. And I sort of do canapes and kind of like that. But for little bags like that, the little favor bags are just different ways of doing things.
Love them. And we actually, because we wanted them to be as fresh as possible, bless you, had to come and hand deliver them from London on Sunday so that they would be as fresh as possible after your holiday, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, honestly.
It was fine. We had a walk on the beach. It was fine.
But yeah, we were like, no. I was like, what is the shelf life? She's like, well,
I was like, no.
They needed.
I would have definitely feel better just, you know, delivering them as quickly as possible, you know, as late as possible generally. So for parties and things, I would always do something like that. Yeah.
So as I said, I'm not going to open these, but you've got that lovely creamy kind of vanilla one. You've got the fruity passion fruit, and then that tropical coconutty one. And then I love the pistachio because you've got a few pistachios.
Yeah.
If you've got pistachio flavor running through it, and then the pistachios on top, or is
No,
it?
no, it's a vanilla one and it's the pistachio on top. So you can kind of you can feel that separate flavoring, I think. And the proper Iranian pistachios, which are the best ones to have.
Oh, I can definitely taste the difference. Amazing. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. And
No,
yeah,
thank you.
enjoy them. If you're watching on catch up, they are a proper treat. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, there is a discount code on that
Yes.
flyer as well. Brilliant.
Get your orders in.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Pistachio texture particularly inviting. Yes, nice
Thank
crunch and against
Yeah.
that mallow. I would suggest toasting them like with like a hot chocolate or something, but I think you'd probably like maybe the vanilla one, but with
The vanilla ones for the cafes that I supply, that's exactly what they do. So they have like very nice, delicious hot chocolates and cream, and then they toast them in front of the customer, and then they on a skewer and then put them on. So, or you make them into s'mores, which are very good.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thank-
much.
Thank
Charlotte.
you. Thank you so much.
No worries. Right, Natasha, shall we move on to your gorgeous seedy snack?
Yes. Hi,
Hello.
everyone. How are you? My name is Natasha, and I make the seeded crackers that are in your hampers. So you have the our everything seasoning flavor. So I'm Canadian, and I've been living in the UK for like 20 years now. And I don't know if many of you know, but everything seasoning is like an everything bagel. So it's kind of in a North American kind of combination that's typically used on a bagel of like onion, garlic, poppy seed, black sesame seeds, and garlic powder and onion powder. So I've kind of put that on a cracker. And these crackers are special and unique in the sense that they're seeded crackers. So they don't have any kind of gluten gray flours or grains. And they're made of a combination of heart healthy and nutritional seeds like flax, sesame, pumpkin, and chia. And I think like what I've heard from many of the businesses is that I used to have a different career. I used to be a social worker, and I always, loved cooking and really enjoyed it. So sorry. So the packaging is a work in progress. So if you want to open it directly from here, there's a little zip tie. It makes it easier. So just pull it apart. So we are working on the packaging and getting kind of more sustainable, less plasticky looking packaging. So yeah, if you just open it from there, and then it's got a nice kind of smell of like onion and garlic. So I was saying, I used to be a social worker and I just loved cooking, and so decided to kind of take the plunge and go to culinary school. And just prior to COVID, I started my own business teaching cooking classes and doing small event catering. And during lockdown, I was making like a mezze platter for a client who was free from a lot of different things, and she wanted some stuff that didn't have any gluten for her mezze platter. And so I sort of came up with these seeded crackers, and they were a hit with friends and family. And so I started developing some flavors and started selling them in markets, in festivals, and online. So I actually have 3 flavors. So the one you have is the everything. I have a chili and lime, and I have a rosemary and za'atar. And they're, amazing as kind of a healthy snack on their own. And then really great with like cheeses, dips. The one that you have is great with peanut butter, jam, and different cheeses like soft cheeses, things like that. Yeah, chili oil. Yeah, that's Tom's chili oil. It goes really well with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's very versatile, whatever you would normally have a cracker with, it goes really nicely on party platters, and festive boards, things like that. So,
and obviously really good for you as well. So
yeah, it's really good for you. It's got a lot of really great seeds with have a lot of vitamins and minerals and nutrients in them. But the flavors kind of make it less sort of, seem just like a healthy snack.
Mm. We the everything. I don't know if everyone's heard of like the everything flavor, but when we were over in Florida, my stepdad was just walking around the bakery area of a supermarket, and this guy came up to him and said, "Oh no, you don't want that bread. You want this everything." It's like, I think it's called like everything baby. It was like an Italian loaf, and it was like in the everything seasoning.
Yeah.
So he had that in the house. He was like, "Oh, this really nice man told me I've got to try this everything bread." So yeah, we've continued to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Crushed on top of a salad.
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing on salads, on soups. You can, substitute like your croutons or bread. It's really, really great with like a Lebanese fattoush salad. Putting, you know, how you normally put pita bread on like a Lebanese or Middle Eastern salad. It's really nice to have that in it. I also have used it I've ground up the crackers sometimes and used it as a crumb coating for chicken and things like that. So it's quite versatile.
I love them. I've
Thank you.
got the other flavors here as well, which they're really good. So if people wanted to buy more, what's the best way to do that from your website?
I sell them online, and all the details are on the back of the pack. I have a couple of cafes and delis that sell them in London, and I'm hoping to kind of get into more sort of cafes, delis, and independent retailers. And we have a few online portals that sell them, but mainly on my website.
And you're also going to be at the Good Food Show, aren't you?
I am going to be at the Good Food Show.
For the Good Food fans.
Yeah.
Most of the people that kind of subscribe to the boxes I've met at the Good Food Show.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll be along to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Kath and Tanya normally do every day of the Good Food Show.
Do they?
On every day. So normally, I don't know if you are at the winter show. But,
they won't give me work. They won't give me Wednesday off the night, so I can only come Friday and Saturday this year. But we'll be there Friday and Saturday.
Perfect. You just have to streamline, have a plan.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Natasha, can you just tell me the name, because I haven't got my box yet. So
it's Seedy. The name of the brand is called Seedy Snacks.
Lovely. I'm just looking for you on
the
Insta.
flavor is the everything flavor.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll have you won't have the post-holiday blues, Lise, because you'll have your box. Sorry.
And we just got the Great Taste Award too. So we got a great star. Yay for that.
Well done. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Natasha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really great to meet you. And we'll put the details in into the tasting club group, and if anyone's got any ideas or take some pictures of what you do with them, I want to see a picture of salad,
absolutely. And on my Instagram page I often do some recipes or ideas of how to eat them and things like that. But yeah, thank you so much. I'll dash off because I have some manufacturing to do, but thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Right, cool. So we have tasted the jam, we've had the brute tea, we've had marshmallows, we've had seedy snacks. Lola, shall we try the olive oil? Hello.
Hello.
That's not Ben, by the way, guys. It says
no.
Ben. It's Lola. And they 2-in-1 of olive oil, who you might have seen at the Good Food Show, and you might have seen me post about it. Most beautiful olive oil, and Lola has kindly given us the lovely tasting pack, and you're gonna talk us through the 3 different gorgeous olive oils in your
excellent pack. I can see you've got it.
Where's mine? There. So this is the pack. And excitingly, the other night I was watching, it's not actually new, but it was Nadia's, like, I can't remember the program, and then she featured different people on there, and I was like, oh, I see, like, there was a couple of these bottles on there. So I messaged you, didn't I? I was like, Lola, I can see your olive oil on the TV.
I was so impressed. I was over the moon. I've recorded it and put it on Instagram. We are on the BBC now. It was amazing. Thank you for spotting it.
Yeah, no worries.
These are the bottles that were on TV, which are the sister, the bigger sisters of the little ones that you have received in your box. And so I am Lola, and I am the 5th generation of olive grower. I come from Spain, and I married an English man, and that is how we created our brand that is called 2 and 1, meaning 2 cultures, 1 lifestyle. And what we are doing is we're bringing my family's olive oil into the UK. And we're also trying to show people how to use and how to enjoy olive oil, and how to feel that it is something for you to use every day in the kitchen, to cook with it, because that is what the Mediterranean diet has been doing for centuries, but also that it is something that you can enjoy, just like we enjoy coffee, or we enjoy tea, or we enjoy wine, or many other things. So I can see Davina looking at the 3 bottles. We have got 3, these represent the 3 harvests. So all of them come from the same single variety of olive oil, which is called Picual. And that is a variety very rich in polyphenols. And what we do is we harvest our first harvest, Verde, in October. So just in a few weeks' time. A few weeks later, we harvest other trees, and we harvest the golden label, which is called Envero. That word means turning, when the fruit turns color into the color they will always be. And the final harvest, that is in December, this is the traditional harvest. This is when, as farmers, we would always farm, which is when the fruit is really black and ripe, and when they yield the most olive oil. So what we're going to do tonight, if you would like to open the bottles and taste them with me, is to go through the journey of the olives. So we will start with Verde. I'm going to show you the professional tasting glasses for olive oil. So this is the shape, and that is the color. And the color is trying to mask the color of the olive oil. So olive oil is not judged on color, only on smell and taste. So those are the cups. And then usually we have a little lid that keeps the aromas in them. I am not expecting anybody to have them, but we can all do with any glass, or a glass of wine if you want. Any glass will do. And we'll pour a little bit there, and then we'll cover it, and we'll stir it and warm it to release the aromas and the taste. So if you're ready and you would like to open your...
Yeah, if you need to go and get a glass, go for it. I don't think I prepared you for this. So
okay, well, Katie, where are our 3 olive oil glasses to taste this, you know?
Sorry.
I've looked in the box, they're not there.
Don't worry, because I have been asking so many people to try my olive oil just on the spot, and there is an even easier way of doing it, which is how the chefs do it. So don't worry about that. Just pour it on the tip of your finger, and then pour it on the back of your hand, just as if it was cream. And then the warmth of your hand will release the aromas.
Oh, yeah.
So that's an easier on-the-spot tasting.
Lola, you did such a good job.
That.
At all these food festivals you're going to, you get all the chefs to try your oil, and they all love it, don't they?
Yeah, I've got photos with everyone now.
You work
Jamie Oliver to get next. So what did you feel? Were you able to smell a little bit of greenness, a little bit of cut grass, and yes, a little bit of apple? I'm going to show you how I would do it so that you just have the experience. So I would have to pour about half a bottle, so don't worry about that. Then warm it and cover it. I can see Martin and Jen are doing it. So you warm it with the heat of your hand, and then you release your palm and smell it. After that,
if you bring in the oxygen into your mouth, is that what you're
yes, that makes it even more, you can appreciate it even more. After smelling it, when we are tasting it professionally, we would just sip it a little bit with the tip of our tongue. Move it around our mouth. And as Katy said, inhale with our mouth and just get all the taste all around. I think Martin took too much. It can be a bit punchy on your throat, so you need to do it very slowly. That is all the polyphenols in the olive oil. So the first one is very grassy. It is like a green apple, yes, and it is when the olives are still very hard. So in order to produce a liter, this is half a liter, but in order to produce a liter of that green olive oil, we need 10 kilos of olives just to produce 1 liter. So the next one is the golden label, which we call Embero. And then you can just open it as well, warm it in your hand, the bottle, and then just bring it to your nose and smell it. And afterwards, you can do what we did of putting it in your skin. So you're warming it. Can you smell the scent? You can try again on the glass, if you have another glass.
You can sip from the cap.
What can you smell with these ones? Can you still smell the grassiness of it, the freshness? I can see Davina. What do you?
Unmute, Davina.
It definitely doesn't taste as grassy as the first one.
No.
I've almost got lemon there. I don't
Yes. Yes, there is a little bit of citrusy in it. I don't know where it comes from, but what I notice is like sunshine. In my mind, it just becomes yellow and orange, and it is that citrus in it. So that one is exactly the same variety of olive trees, just harvested a few weeks later, and that is what produces that change in flavor.
Lola, interestingly, we tried teas earlier, and we talked about how the teas are all the same plant variety, but it's different harvesting. So the green tea is just a different harvest, and the black and oolong and all of those, they're all the same variety, but different harvests. So it's quite interesting. Synergies between our two tastings.
Well, it is how nature works and how we don't need to add anything to change the flavor, just the time changes it. So that is the last one. That is the negra, which we call, because that is the color of the olives when we harvest them. They all go from green to black. And if you open it after warming it up, you can smell this is the traditional olive oil. So I'm sure you're used to good quality olive oil, and this is the traditional smell of it. So if you want to try it again in the palm, on the back of your hand, or any type of glass.
Well, that one's caught my throat.
Yes,
that's polyphenols.
Yes, that is the goodness in it. What can anybody suggest what they taste in this one? Kentel, did you want to say something?
I'm rather jealous because I don't have any.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. I'm smelling it from here.
Oh,
It sounds amazing. It really does.
Thank you. Well,
it definitely tastes like it's fruitier, isn't it? It's kind of bolder and
it is like a more rounded taste. Martin, did you want to say something?
I feel like I've spoken loads, Lola, but one of my questions is about on the labeling. It says superior category olive oil obtained directly from olives and solely by mechanical means. What I don't understand what that means. Excuse my ignorance with olive.
Oh, not at all.
Harvesting.
Thank you for the question. Well, what you have just read is obligatory for us to say it. So it is obligatory only if we have done it, of course, and only extra virgin olive oil can say that. Okay. Because it means that it has been the first press of the olives. They have been harvested, taken to the mill, crushed, centrifugated, and whilst you centrifugate them, the mass and the liquid separates like curd, and then that liquid is filtered, and that is the olive oil that you have here. As I said, we needed 10 kilos to produce a liter of verde. We need 5 kilos to produce a liter of negra. But there is an 80% of pulp that is left. So that is discarded by extra virgin olive oil producers, and it is taken by other producers of olive oil who take it to refineries, and they might press it again. They definitely add heat. They add chemicals. They add detergents to extract more liquid out of that pulp. And that liquid, they cannot say it has been made solely by mechanical means. That is crushing, centrifugating, and filtering.
What an amazing answer. I mean, I understand why you can't write all of that on these little bottles, I guess. But that does make sense. And in one respect, I'm glad that the pulp doesn't go to waste. I understand it's not becoming extra virgin olive oil and
yes,
a premium quality product, but at least it's being used. And I understand that obviously it's not coming out the same, but at least it's not just going to the waste, I guess.
No, it's not going to waste. It has other grades of olive oil, including one that is called lampant, it comes from the Latin lamp. So it was the olive oil that was used for lamps.
Okay.
Even in those times, it is the olive oil that is not edible. And also when they have taken all the olive oil from the pulp through all of these other means, they dry the rest and they convert it into pellets that are used for heating.
Okay.
So nothing gets wasted.
Yeah, I wondered if it would go into some sort of animal feed, but that makes sense then, I guess.
Yes, it goes into heating.
Okay.
As
awesome.
far as I know.
Yeah, you know so much. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Lola, you host lots of tastings around. You're Hampshire based, aren't you? Yes,
we've got one in a couple of weeks' time on the 11th at a local pub, and then I'm going to do another one at a little cookery school, and we'll have a few more in the new year. Yes,
and you'll be at the Good Food Show as well, won't you?
Of course. Oh, yes, I will. And
which would be great. So if you want to go and meet Lola, go and tell her. Oh, thank you, Sharon and Tom. See you. Yeah, we'll have to come and meet you and talk all things olive oil. But you have included a lovely discount code to be able to get free delivery.
Free delivery, yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much. But
thank you.
Well, it's been amazing talking us through those olive oils. And as you said, like, you can cook with olive oil. Like, it's a bit of a thing in the UK that we've been taught not to cook with olive oil. But basically, to me, it's a bit of a budget issue that, you know, if you're spending quite a lot on an olive oil, would you want to cook with it? So you want to use it in things like dishes where you can really taste the olive oil without, you know, really cooking things down. You know, if you're like cooking just some tomatoes or like a tomato stew and things like that, and to put on top. You don't want to you want to use it to add flavor rather than just, you know, quick.
Well, just to finish, Negra is the less expensive one because we produce much more and it is our main harvest. And also, if you want to join our mailing list, we are just about to launch a club so that people can have access not only to bottles but to tins of olive oil, so that you can use it all the time, because our aim is that people use it. So we've produced the lovely bottles to start, but our aim is to launch the olive oil lovers members club. So join our mailing list.
Oh yeah, great idea. Thank you.
I'll let you carry on. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Lola. Amazing. So we have Divine Teas. We better get to you. I'm sorry. And then Tom, I am running a bit late, so I'm going to be just to get to you. We're going to go and talk about this amazing turmeric tea first, if you don't mind. You got to take yourself off mute. Hello. So grab this out of your box, guys, which looks like a leaflet, but it's not just a leaflet. It also has a gorgeous little sachet of tea on there. Can you tell us about your tea and yourself?
Thank you, Katie. Hi, everyone. I'm Shahida, and it's so nice to be here today. And I felt so smug. I've got one of those oils.
Where did you get it from? The summer show?
From the Good Food Show.
Which one did you get?
I got the Negra, and then I got this one as well. I don't know what this one is, but this is nearly finished now, so I know where to go if I need some more and everything. But it's lovely. We just use it on salads because, like you say, premium product. But it's beautiful. But my son just chucks on loads on salads, so I'm always telling him, like, just go a bit easy. But yeah, it's great to be here. So this tea I started making about 6 or 7 years ago, and the reason I started making it was because I used to live in London and I used to get a lot of chest infections and colds and flus. And the first year the doctor gave me antibiotics, and I didn't want to take those every year. So then I realized about turmeric and our heritage and our culture. There's a company that I used to make this tea, but then they stopped. And that's what I was taking at the time. So it's obviously got turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, cardamom, fennel, licorice, and black pepper. And then it suddenly stopped. So I thought, okay, I'll just make my own. So I went to my cupboard, got all the spices, and then I made it to how I like it. And so the sachet that you've got is enough for 1 cup of tea. So you can literally like just empty the whole sachet into a cup. And so I started making it. I used to give it away for free. It's all organic. Like, I've always made it organic because I wanted to make for me and my family. And I'd give it away. And then I think it was near COVID or just after COVID that I realized I can't sustain it. And people were telling me to make it and sell it. But with running a small business and having, I'm looking after my son, having a full-time job, I just didn't have the time to actually start looking into packaging and all of that. But anyway, I got a sign and I thought, right, I'm going to do it. So then I made the powder to how I like it, the mix, and it seemed popular. So then that's how this was born. I started putting into jars and things. But as you can see, I don't know if you've tried it, but you only need a tiny bit. And if you do put a bit more in, you can always top it with water. But the main benefits are that turmeric is a natural anti-inflammatory, and it helps you to stop getting colds and flus in the winter. And if anyone does catch a cold, it helps you to get rid of it quicker. So I've been told that when people get, the stuff on their chest, it clears it. My friend calls it miracle tea. I did think about calling it miracle tea, but I think the Lord said I can't call it miracle tea. Yeah, exactly. But all the other spices have got their own respective benefits as well. So cardamom is good for digestion, so is fennel, licorice, ginger, and the cinnamon has got blood sugar benefits as well. And for any reason, if you're ever at home and you need a turmeric tea, because on its own turmeric doesn't taste very nice, but you always have to have black pepper in it, because the pepperine in the black pepper activates the curcumin in the turmeric, and that's what makes the magic happen. And I'm so glad I've got this now, because turmeric on its own, I don't know whether you've had it, it tastes very earthy and I don't like the taste. So all of those, you don't need to put any sugar, agave. My son used to put honey in it, but he stopped doing that as well now. And the name Divine Teas came from the concept of I wanted to people to feel divine after they drink the tea. So I have this tea now every night because it's autumn now. So I'll run my bath, get a full mug of tea, put it on my bedside. And then by the time I come out the bath, it's at the right temperature. And I'll get my magnesium spray that on my feet, drink the tea, and then go to bed. I have the best sleep ever. And I don't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning anymore like I used to. And that's Divine Teas.
Amazing. I'm drinking mine now, and it is really, I was kind of a bit nervous about
Had you tried it before though? Because I remember I gave you a sample, but I wasn't sure, because some people do get nervous, and I get it completely. I do.
No, I've tried it. I think I had, when last time I had it, I probably put too much in, and so it's quite nice to get a dose.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And
thank you.
And great, because everyone hears about benefits of turmeric, but it's almost, how do you take it?
Yeah. The other things it's helped cure is I had a cyst on my foot years ago, and I couldn't get into the doctors, and then when it popped, I drank this tea like an antibiotic, and then it helped to seal it up because I was going camping, so I was in a panic, so it helped to seal that up. Somebody's tooth abscess was it really helped them to get better quicker as well. And then a lot of people who've had COVID, they buy the tea from me as well. And you can have it in a smoothie, shake, in a cake, in milk, so turmeric latte. I like a bit more yellowy, so I'll put a bit more in, and then water. I just like preferring water, so that's like the OG way, I think.
Amazing.
Has anyone else tried it here, like turmeric on its own, or do you have as tablets? Oh, Tom, you do. What, as tablets or just on its own? Because I don't like it on its own.
In some teas as well, actually, but not just turmeric on its own in a tea, like a blend. I actually have like it's very, very, very orange, so it's always I have to be quite careful when I'm pouring it, because it's white countertop with bright orange tea. So, but it's really good. It's really nice tasting, and it's really good after a cup.
Soda bicarbonate on the countertops, Tom.
Noted.
I think once everyone's had a try of it, let's feed back into the group, into the Facebook group, because be good to see if anyone starts taking it and any health benefits. Be really good. Thank you so much. It's so good to learn all about it, and find your miracle tea.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Amazing. Awesome. So that was the Divine Tea. Tom, let's get you on now, because I don't want to keep you hanging around.
Good.
So some of you might have seen this before at the Good Food Show, and I think I've shared it before, but Tom is from the amazing Yep Kitchen, and this is a very cool chili oil. Now, if I have been a really good person that remembers my subscribers, you will have a vegetarian one, Davina, a blue one.
I actually saw Davina pull the jar, and it's the right color. It's the vegan one.
So the other one's got some beef in there, which I just think is amazing. Like when I first heard about it.
Oh, is Katie gone?
Like, I mean, I love what you do anyway, but tell us more about Yep Kitchen, why you started.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much. I think I don't know if my camera was fuzzy then, or if it was yours, Katie, but can everybody hear me okay?
I think we're back. I think something did happen, but we might be back.
Worries. Yeah, so thanks so much for having me, Katie, and everybody else. Thanks for joining. My name's Tom. I'm the founder of Yep Kitchen, and we are, in a nutshell, all about authentic Chinese flavors. I lived in Beijing for 10 years. During that time, it was very evident to me that the Chinese food I had grown up eating for 20 plus years was not the same as the Chinese food in China. I was really just blown away by the flavors and the diversity of the cuisine, especially when you go to different provinces, to the south, to the west. It's completely different. And I was always confused as to why I had grown up thinking that Chinese food was these 4 or 5 flavors: black bean, sweet and sour, and not really anything else. So I moved back from China 2 years ago with a mission to sort of showcase the diversity of Chinese food with the UK. And that's where our products come in, is we're trying to highlight different regions, different flavors, different ingredients. And at the moment, we're focusing on chili oils and ferments. But hopefully in the near future, that might expand into a few more products and a few more categories. We're working on potentially some noodle kits, potentially some ready meals, basically anything that we can do to really showcase the amazing flavors of China.
Exciting.
It's very exciting.
Noodle
There's a few elements that we really care about, and the one in particular is authenticity. I'm obviously non-Chinese, but I'm really trying to showcase a culture and a cuisine that I've adopted and lived in for 10 years. So what we do is we have access to some local farms in southwest China in Sichuan province, and we're importing our chilies and our Sichuan peppercorns from the local farms in Sichuan province. So that way we have a really authentic product. We have this nice like life cycle of the product where we're giving back to the farms in the regions where these products come from. So that's one element. Second one is our artwork. It's really important to us that we represent China in an authentic way. So we work with Chinese artists to produce the artwork that you see on the front of the products. And we think this creates a nice, wholesome experience when you taste these products. It's not just about the flavor, but it's about how it looks and, you know, where the products have been sourced. So for me, it's really important that we really showcase all elements of Chinese culture through these products. So yeah, it's a really exciting range. We have some really unique flavors. In particular, the one that's in this box, I think around 90% of you have the garlic chili oil with beef. This is a really, yes, that's the one, Martin and Jen. It's such a delicious product. And in Hong Kong, there's a very well-known sauce that uses dried shrimp. It's called an XO sauce. And a lot of people are familiar with this because obviously UK and Hong Kong have a really long history. But actually in mainland China, often that dried shrimp can be changed into dried pork, sometimes dried beef, sometimes even dried chicken. But the purpose is the same, to add umami and to add some texture. So what we're doing is we're drying out a beef to make a beef jerky. So your shelf life is not changed. We're not adding any fat or anything like this to our product, but you get this really nice sweetness almost from the beef jerky, and then paired with garlic, chili, and ginger. It's just the most amazing combination. And the original recipe is with beef, but I decided to sort of make a vegan version, took the beef out, but we didn't want it to sort of be missing. So what we did is we added some more mushroom powder, and that way you still get the nice umami kicks that you would get from the beef jerky, but from mushrooms instead.
How are you feeling about this, guys? I think it's interesting.
Have you had a chance to taste, anyone?
I can see Kath and Tanya have. Tanya, all right with that one?
Even the smells, if you want to just open the jars now and you can smell the aroma, it's so aromatic. And that comes from our processes of using fresh produce. A lot of chili oils will use dehydrated garlic or frozen processed chilies. We don't do any of that. Everything is fresh. Everything is processed in our manufacturing site in West London, where we moved 5 months ago. So it takes us a little bit longer to make everything, but we really care about the quality. So, you know, every chili is hand washed, dried, top taken off, chopped up in our space. But the end result is just so much better.
Martin, I think you might like that one.
And it works great to add sort of flavor to any kind of cooking. It's naturally going to be great with any Asian dish, in particular Chinese ones. But actually, it works really good with almost anything that's savory, whether it's a pasta dish, whether it's just in a sandwich, whether it's on a pizza, anything that needs a little bit of a kick, a little bit of a boost. You can just drizzle some of that on, and it's just so quick and so easy.
I love it.
Thomas, this is right up our street.
Yeah?
Right up our street. This is like...
Excellent.
This is like...
Shot glasses now.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a couple of customers recently have been pestering us for larger jars because they're going through them too quickly.
It's got the umami taste, definitely.
Yeah, it's so rich in umami.
Yeah.
We're using all of our products. We use a mushroom powder.
Okay.
So instead of typical MSG, which as a person who's been in China for a long time, MSG is certainly a misunderstood ingredient, but it doesn't mean that you need to use it, because
I
what
have
we
a
do.
horrible reaction to MSG. I have mouth ulcers.
Really? Yeah. See, I mean, this is MSG itself is it occurs naturally in a lot of foods.
Sorry,
like tomatoes, beans, mushrooms. Actually, the chemical compound, your body is unable to distinguish the difference, which is why the taste is exactly the same. So even if you use a fermented bean and then you use the powder form, in taste-wise, it's exactly the same. So we feel it's unnecessary to use the powder when we're already using mushrooms and we're already using fermented beans. It would almost be a little bit counterintuitive to use both. So we use a mushroom powder because we find it does pretty much the same job, but in a natural way.
That's awesome. I'm conscious we've got the mic open. I've asked loads of questions of everyone else. I'm going to throw one question, if you don't mind, Thomas.
Yeah.
By the way, we love the product, as you probably realize.
Thanks, I appreciate that a lot.
You mentioned about the artwork. Do you want to tell us a little bit more, like particularly this image? I'm trying to work out.
Yeah.
What the chilies and the firepower of it, I assume.
So there is there's a concept of art called firecracker art, which comes from mid 20th century China and Hong Kong, and it was used to decorate firecracker boxes. So if you have a look on Google and you type in sort of like vintage firecracker art, it will come up with these most amazing boxes of fireworks that just have this awesome artwork on it, and then they would set them on fire outside shops and things like that to celebrate various occasions. And we just felt like it was a perfect use for a chili oil company because it's fiery, it's explosive, and I just love the artwork as well. So I felt like this sort of piece of art that's always been burned and destroyed, let's give it a permanent fixture on a shelf so everyone can appreciate it always. So yeah, that's a little bit of the backstory on our artwork. It's called firecracker art.
Ah, I love it. I'm going to say a couple of things about you. So you've started you kind of glossed over the fact you've moved to your own unit. So
yeah,
lots of companies, if you don't know, that there is an option when you're a smaller business, you can kind of either take a route where you ask someone else to manufacture for you, or you take a huge step and big risks and bold moves and you create your own unit, your own factory. And those people that do that, I think, really should be celebrated, like you, Tom, because you are, putting everything into that. And I hope that, as you grow and with these noodles and the meal kits and ready meals things, I think that just sounds amazing. Like that whole package. And I hope that, I think you're definitely doing it the right way. And I'm sure people will continue to support you and help you grow.
The right way and the hard way, for sure. It was just, I think, for us to keep in line with our values, it was the only way to do it, because we had those conversations with manufacturers last year, but they wanted to make changes to the products and the processes that we weren't super comfortable with, and which is why we decided to do a crowdfund campaign so we could raise some funds to buy the machines ourselves, and then we can have complete control over the process. And it does take longer, which is why it's a slightly premium price point. But we think that people value the quality of the product, and perhaps it isn't for everyone every time. Maybe you do want to buy the $2.99 cheaper version every now and again. That's cool, but we're always going to be here to provide that more quality premium option.
I appreciate it.
Katy, I've got to jump in there for a second. I know I'm hogging the mic. You've got to promote the crowdfunding of food products, because we follow a few bits, but we didn't know about this, Tom.
Oh, really?
You would have definitely been involved. So, Katy, if you ever get wind of any of the products you love that are doing crowdfunding, you need to share it with us all, and maybe we can join in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Noted.
Well, if we need a bigger space in another year, I know where to go.
Brilliant. And I also love that you're now using rapeseed oil from Norfolk. which is very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we just made a really big switch in our, well, actually the biggest switch to date. We moved from a refined rapeseed oil to a cold pressed rapeseed oil. So the difference there again was just about maintaining the best quality that we possibly can. And the benefits of refined rapeseed oils is that they are flavorless and colorless. So this is why a lot of products and companies use them, because you don't need to do much work in changing the flavor, but you still get all the wonderful mouth feels from oil. But when you switch to a cold pressed, you now have a really simple mechanically pressed product, which is very, 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 very yellow. So luckily for our chili oils, it doesn't make much difference because the chili's dyed red, but the taste is there. And I was really worried about it being like too seedy or too nutty, but actually it's just added like loads of depth to the product, and I kind of wished we did it sooner. But yeah, as of the start of September, we are now using a locally sourced cold pressed award-winning British rapeseed oil.
Perfect. Love it. Amazing. Right, I'm going to have to rush on, so we've got a few more products to talk about before the end. Thank you so much,
guys. Thank you so much too. We've also got a really cool gift box coming up this Christmas, which will be going live in November. So I think it should tie in quite nicely to a little discount code that we've got for you.
Yeah, we thought about giving you a discount code now, and then we thought actually you won't be ready to buy one quite more yet.
God, man.
Yeah. So eat this. Well, you might be, but yeah. So yeah, we'll send out another discount code sort of like in a couple of months. So hopefully be ready to stock up again.
Lovely.
Right.
Thanks
you
for having me, guys.
Cheers.
Nice
Take care.
Bye.
Right. Right, we need to get back to the products. So I'm not going to make you try this now, but you have got a really cool soup in your box, and this is by Soul Kitchen. So I've been keeping up with Bella, who made Soul Kitchen a couple of years ago. She was kind of fed up at uni with the fact that you couldn't get anything that was, you know, no nasties in it, preservative free. So this is like pure vegetable kind of powders with flavoring. So this one's beetroot and coconut. Made one of these yesterday. I'll let you make this in your own time. But it's really lovely, rich soup, beautiful, bright, vibrant purple color. You've got that earthiness from the beetroot. You've got kind of tropical, nutty kind of sweetness from the coconut, and then some really lovely kind of Thai inspired spices in there as well. So it's a really like a good for you instant soup. She also does a sweet potato and pumpkin, and then I couldn't find the other one. It's a red pepper one as well, but you've just got the beetroot in there. I think no, she didn't put a leaflet in there, but we can send more details as well. But those ones really cool, really young business as well, so another one to support. And she'll be at the Good Food Show. Right, so that's Soul Kitchen, and then I think I've shared this on a newsletter, but this is Asilia salt. So this is from Tanzania, and it's an organic kind of completely natural salt farm, and I've got a really cool little video to play you if I can from Josh, who is the son of the family. So let's have a look if I can get this to you. Don't share your entire screen or browser, share just a tab or window instead. Hang on a second. Let me just get a screen. I'm going to show you the entire screen. I don't know if this is going to work either. I'm not very good at doing this, am I? Let's see if I can get this to work. Don't think I did it. Share a tab instead. While I figure this out, I think I did this last time and I couldn't get the sound to work, could I? But basically, I'll put it in the Facebook group. Josh is a really lovely guy. He's a really good supporter of mine as well, which is really nice. He's helped spread the word about the work I do for smaller producers. But if we try this, it's the coconut and lime salt. This is amazing on the rim of a margarita, especially if you make one with coconut tequila, which is awesome. Or just put a little bit of coconut rum in there. He's given us a little note card to try it with on like guacamole. Really good with like flavoring rice, with fish, things like that. But I thought it was just so unusual, and just a lovely zesty like limey flavor, and then you've got that tropical kind of coconutty flavor. So yeah, what do we think of this? Thumbs up? Yeah,
Katie, that is a massive pot of salt.
it is, isn't it?
I mean, I think we've probably underpaid for all of these products, by the way, for what we're getting.
You get a mixture of cool things that people want to get into your kitchen. So, and I mean, as much as you can is spread the word in exchange for getting these products. So, you know, it's a great way for them to find foodies that are really into these products. I mean, how else would they get in front of you? So, yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you,
I try to deliver as much as I can.
I mean, Jen and I were both saying we're so jealous of your job, but actually we get to reap the reward. So well done. Well done for finding us these amazing products.
Well, we don't have to do it, do we? Somebody does it for us.
It's a really hard job. I mean, no, I love it, and I love, you know, it's not an easy thing, kind of like doing these boxes, and I don't, you know, I'm not in it for the money. If I was, you know, you'd be paying double and probably not being able to subscribe anymore. But yeah, no, I love doing it, and I love sharing, you know, the stories behind them and people introducing them to people and connecting. I love it. Brings me joy. Thank you. One more product, I think. Okay, so I'm sorry if this disappoints anyone, because they are just digestive biscuits, but they're not just digestive biscuits, because they are just like, I think they're just really good, and my partner Jamie absolutely loves them, and one of the reasons we have them in the box is because I had to order more for him, so I was like, oh, why don't I just share the joy, because if he loves them so much, hopefully you will as well. So the simple digestive, if you have a look at the ingredients of a McVitie's digestive, it's full of palm oil, it's full of sugar, it's, you know, got preservatives in it, there's other kind of modified starches and things like that, just to make it easy for them to make them in such a mass scale. So the ingredients of these are literally things that you'll find in your cupboard. So if you're reducing your intake of ultra processed foods, this will be ticking your boxes, because it is just flour, salt, bicarbonate soda, sugar, butter, oatmeal, and flour, basically. And I think that, you know, it's quite low in sugar, so a nice kind of not too sweet biscuit. If you're not loving it as a kind of sweet biscuit, have it on your cheese board. So really good with like a, you know, like a roulette or like boursin style creamy garlicky herb cheese. Really good with brie and camembert, soft cheeses, things like that, and blue cheese. So great on a cheese board. This company, Sorley Kitchen, are a fabulous home, a family-run business. They're growing quite a lot now. They sell to lots of hotels. We have actually had products from them before. We did the ginger thins and like a savoury cracker from them, but these are a new one. And I just think it's really quite bold to do something so sort of basic as a digestive, but doing it really, really well, and committing to, you know, not putting preservatives in. And really, they've got quite a good shelf life as well. Like they'll last until March, so it's just yeah, I think we make a really good gift, good for kind of festive hampers and things like that. But I just think, do we like this, or is it just a digestive, or what do we think? Can't hear anyone. Marshmallow in the run for jam. Yeah, did you like that, Liz?
Love it.
Yeah. Cool. And actually the jam with the biscuits, that was my initial plan, to do the biscuits at the beginning, but seeing producers waiting to come on the call, I can't stop. So yeah, good with a vessel for all sorts of things. There we go. There's the raspberry jam with that as well. Stick a marshmallow on top. I think I've covered everything, haven't I? Oh no! Thank you, Davina. No, the beautiful truffle oil. Okay, I'm really sorry. I'll keep putting here. So if you don't like truffle oil, just have this on hand for if you have any guests who do like truffle, because you can drizzle. But this is a super, super treat. So it's got summer black truffle in there. It's got sea salt in there. And it's from Yorkshire, and it's a cold pressed rapeseed. It's super special. And if we're going into how you got this in the box, so it has got a reasonably short shelf life. So it's got a couple of months on there, which means for a producer, they wouldn't be able to put it into a shop. But obviously having a couple of months, and for most people at home, that's long enough, and the best befores really matter that much anyway. So this is a glorious truffle oil, which retails at £18. So Martin, you're talking about what we can afford to put in the box. This is a proper treat. And they contacted me, were like, oh, have you can you do any sampling or anything? Thinking that I'd just do something at home. And I was like, wow, actually I've got 55 boxes to send out. And they were like, oh, let's have a look, have a count up. And they had enough. So it's really gorgeous, super truffly. Put it into anything to add that lovely deep kind of mushroomy flavor too. I mean, I love truffle. My sister doesn't. Jamie doesn't, so I can't have it. Biscuits and raspberry jam are fabulous. Good. So yeah, so this is Charlie and Ivy's. We've had a dressing from them as well before. You might remember the lemon and poppy seed dressing we had before. Charlie and Ivy's they're basically owned by the Yorkshire Rapeseed Oil Company. It's kind of their business. Charlie and Ivy are their children. And they set this up to kind of as a bit of a more premium kind of a high-end brand. They do gorgeous dippers as well, like bread dippers with oils and vinegars and things and herbs. But this is, yeah, if you like truffle, you'll love this truffle oil. And I'm hoping it got to everyone safely, because I was so worried about them when I was wrapping them up. Cool. So that brings you to the end of this little tasting box of autumn. Hopefully it's brought you things that you can enjoy going into the winter months. Just as a recap, I was going to say it at the beginning, but I choose things based on lovely people making them, great quality products. They've got provenance behind them. They've got stories. They taste amazing as well. So hopefully you've got some really cool things that you've tried and play with. And yeah, anything you make, please do share it in the group, in the Facebook club or Facebook page. Any sharing of it really helps. I'm at the point that I'd like to kind of like do more boxes, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I'll be able to manage doing that many, and my postman will hate me. But I love doing it. I love sharing these finds with you guys. So I hope you continue to enjoy it.